Alex, what's that in your hand? Are you feeling okay?
Oh, it's just some painkillers. I've had this bad headache all morning and my head really hurts a lot.
I'm sorry to hear that. Did you get those from the pharmacist?
I did, but it's tricky. Asking for the right relief or a generic version without a prescription.
It can be. Today, we're going to help everyone feel more confident when they need help at the pharmacy. Welcome back to the Daily Seed English Podcast. I'm Sophia, and it's wonderful to be here with you all today.
And I'm Alex. We're so happy you've joined us as we plant another seed of language together.
You know, learning English is truly like growing a tiny seed. It starts small, but with a little care and practice each day, your skills will definitely grow into something beautiful.
That's so true. And today, we're planting some very practical labels as we explore everything you might need at the pharmacy.
All right, let's dive into our first part. When you walk into a pharmacy, or what some people call a chemist's, the first thing the pharmacist will likely ask is how you're feeling. It's such a simple question, but it can feel quite heavy when you aren't feeling your best.
Totally. And Sophia, sometimes it's hard to find the right words when you're actually standing there at the counter. My mind just goes blank. Like, if I just feel generally off or not quite right, what's the most natural way to start that conversation?
That's a great point, Alex. A very natural and common way to start is by saying, I don't feel well. I think I have a cold. It's direct and it gives the pharmacist a big clue right away. You don't need to be a doctor to say that.
I don't feel well. I think I have a cold. Okay, I can remember that. But what if it's more than just a general feeling, like that headache I was complaining about earlier? It's not just a small ache, it really feels quite strong.
In that case, you should be a bit more specific so they can help you better. You can say, I have a bad headache and my head hurts a lot. Notice how we use the word bad here. In English, we often use bad to describe the intensity of pain. You might hear people say they have a splitting headache if it's very intense, but bad headache is perfect for our B1 learners.
I have a bad headache. Got it. And sometimes it feels like a pounding sound in my head. Is that still a bad headache?
Exactly. Pounding, throbbing, those are more advanced words, but hurts a lot covers all of that. Now, what about that other common symptom, the throat?
Oh man, when my throat feels like I've swallowed glass, that's the worst. What do I say then?
We've all been there. You should say, my throat is sore and it hurts when I swallow. The word sore is our go-to word for that kind of irritation. It's different from pain in a way. It's that raw, scratchy feeling.
My throat is sore. So sore is like the adjective for the feeling, and then I explain the action. It hurts when I walk, or it hurts when I breathe.
Precisely. You're catching on quick, Alex. Now, let's pause for a second and look at a very important word, symptom. Can you explain what a symptom is to our listeners?
Well, let me try. A symptom is like a sign or a clue that your body gives you to show that something is wrong, right? Like a headache is a sign, so it's a symptom.
You nailed it. A symptom is a physical or mental feature that indicates a condition or disease. It's what you tell the doctor or pharmacist so they can figure out what's wrong. And speaking of clues, another very common symptom is a cough.
Like that? I might say, I have a cough and sometimes I feel hot.
Yes, exactly. And that feeling of feeling hot is often a sign of something else. Do you know the word for when your body temperature goes up?
Is it a fever?
Yes, a fever. You can say, I've got a fever and my body aches. When you have a fever, you might also feel chills. That's when you feel cold even though your skin is hot. And body aches means your muscles feel sore all over.
Oh, I hate that feeling. It's like I've run a marathon, but I've actually just stayed in bed all day. My body aches. It sounds so heavy.
It really is. And usually, when you have a fever and a cough, you also have a lot of trouble with your nose. You know, when you can't stop using tissues?
Oh, you mean a runny nose. Like, I have a runny nose and I can't breathe well.
Exactly. And that leads us to another great vocabulary word, congestion. Can you guess what congestion means in this context?
Hmm. I know congestion usually means a lot of cars on the road, like a traffic jam. Is it a nose jam?
Actually, yes, that's a perfect way to think about it. Congestion is when your nose or chest feels blocked or stuffy. It's that feeling where you just can't get enough air through your nose. It's very common with colds and allergies.
Ah, okay. So I could say, I have a lot of congestion in my chest, or my nose is really congested.
Exactly. Now, let's move down from the nose to the stomach. Sometimes we don't just feel unwell, we feel like, well, like we might lose our lunch.
Oh, that's never fun. I would probably say, my stomach hurts and I feel sick. But wait, I thought sick just meant not well.
That's a tricky one. In many English speaking countries, especially the UK, saying I feel sick often specifically means I feel like I'm going to vomit. It's a very common way to describe that specific feeling in your stomach.
Professionals often call this feeling nausea.
Nausea. Wow, we've covered a lot of symptoms, from a fever to nausea and congestion.
We have. And remember, the goal is always to find relief. Relief is that wonderful feeling when the medicine starts working and you feel better.
I definitely need some relief for this headache. I'm thinking about all those phrases. They really cover everything you feel when you're coming down with a cold or the flu.
They do. And remember, the pharmacist is there to help. They aren't just selling medicine, they are health professionals who can guide you to the right products.
But sometimes people get confused between a cold and a flu. Do you know the difference in symptoms?
I think a flu is much worse, like more fever and body aches.
Exactly. A cold usually stays in your head, like a runny nose and congestion, but a flu hits your whole body. That's when you say, I've got a fever and my body aches. It's much more intense.
My body aches. It really sounds like the flu. And what about the cough?
Good question. A cold often has a productive cough. That's when you have some, well, stuff coming up. But a flu can have a very dry, painful cough. In both cases, you can say, I need some medicine for my cough, please.
I need some medicine for my cough, please. That's a very useful sentence. It's polite but clear.
It is. Now, let's try a little role play to help our listeners. I'll be the pharmacist and you be the customer with a few symptoms. Ready?
I'm ready.
Good morning. How can I help you today?
Hi. I don't feel well. I think I have a cold.
I'm sorry to hear that. What are your symptoms?
Well, I have a bad headache and my head hurts a lot. Also, my throat is sore and it hurts when I swallow.
I see. Do you also have a fever or any congestion?
Yes, I've got a fever and my body aches. I also have a runny nose and I can't breathe well.
Okay, it sounds like a bad cold or maybe a mild flu. We have a few things that can give you some relief. Does your stomach feel okay?
Actually, my stomach hurts and I feel sick.
I see. So you have some nausea as well. Let me find something for you.
And scene. That was great, Sophia. It feels so much more real when you put all the sentences together like that.
It really does.
And you noticed how I used the words like symptoms, fever, and relief? Using the vocabulary in a real conversation is how it sticks.
It really is. And I like how I could just use those exact sentences from our list. I didn't need any complex grammar, just subject plus verb plus complement. I have a headache. My throat is sore.
Exactly. English doesn't always have to be complicated to be effective.
Hey, Sophia, what about the word sick again? If I'm in the US and I say I'm sick, is it different?
In American English, I'm sick usually means you are ill in general. But if you say I'm getting sick, it means you feel the symptoms starting. And just like in the UK, if you say I feel sick to my stomach, it definitely means nausea.
Ah, sick to my stomach. That's a good one to know.
Now, before we finish this part, let's do a quick seed quiz for our listeners. I'll describe a feeling, and you tell me the symptom or vocabulary word. Ready, Alex?
I'm born ready.
Okay, first one. Your nose is blocked and you can't breathe through it. What is that called?
Is it congestion?
Correct. Next one. You feel very hot and your body temperature is high.
That's a fever.
Right again. Third one. That feeling in your stomach where you think you might throw up.
That's nausea, or just saying I feel sick to my stomach.
Perfect. Last one. The person who works behind the counter and gives you the medicine.
That's the pharmacist, and they work in the pharmacy.
10 out of 10, Alex. You've really nurtured those language seeds today.
Thanks, Sophia. I feel much more prepared now. I'm not just learning words, I'm learning how to actually use them when I'm not feeling my best.
That's the goal. Practice those phrases, everyone. And once you know your symptoms, the next step is asking the pharmacist for the right medicine.
Right, like asking for recommendations or even finding something over the counter.
In our first part, we talked all about how to describe those nasty symptoms. But once the pharmacist knows what's wrong, how do you actually ask for what you need?
That's exactly what I was wondering. Sometimes I know I just need a simple medicine, like for my head or my throat. Is there a polite way to ask for recommendations?
There certainly is. A great phrase to use is, "Do you have anything for a headache?" It's very direct and clear. Or, if you want to be a bit more formal, you can say, "Can you recommend something for a sore throat?"
Can you recommend something for a sore throat? I like that word recommend. It shows you trust the pharmacist's expert opinion.
Exactly. They have so many options behind the counter, and recommend helps them narrow it down for you. And if you have a bad cough, you might say, "I need some medicine for my cough, please."
I need some medicine for my cough, please. Simple and to the point. But Sophia, what if I don't have a prescription from a doctor? Can I still buy these things?
Great question, Alex. This brings us to a very important term, over the counter, or OTC for short.
Over the counter? Does that mean it's literally sitting on the counter?
Not exactly. It just means medicine you can buy without a prescription from a doctor. You can just walk in, ask for it, and pay. Things like simple painkillers, for example.
Painkiller. I love that name. It literally kills the pain, right?
Yes, a painkiller is medicine that stops you from feeling pain, like paracetamol or ibuprofen. They come in many forms: tablets, pills, or even capsules.
Wait, what's the difference between a tablet and a capsule? Are they the same thing?
They are similar, but a tablet is usually a solid, hard piece of medicine. A capsule is more like a small, smooth container that holds liquid or powder inside. Most people just call them all pills in casual conversation.
Ah, okay. So I need some painkillers in tablet form. That sounds very professional.
It does. And what about that sore throat we mentioned? If you don't want liquid medicine, what else can you use?
My mom used to give me those hard candies that you suck on. What are those called?
Those are called throat lozenges. Try saying that. lozenge.
Lozenge. Throat lozenge. That's a fun word.
It is. And for a cough, you'll often get cough syrup. It's that sweet, thick liquid you take with a spoon.
Some of it tastes okay, but some of it is, well, not so good.
I agree. Now, when the pharmacist suggests a medicine, you might want to check the price. Sometimes brand name medicines are very expensive. Do you know how to ask for something cheaper?
I think I do. I could say, do you have a cheaper version of this? Or ask about the generic?
Perfect. A generic medicine has the exact same ingredients as the famous brand name one, but it's usually much cheaper. You can ask, how much does this cost, to be sure?
How much does this cost? And do you have a generic version? That definitely helps the wallet. But wait, Sophia, what if the medicine makes me feel tired or gives me a stomachache?
That's very important. Those unwanted effects are called side effects. Before you leave the pharmacy, always ask, are there any side effects?
Are there any side effects? Some medicines make you sleepy, right? Like some cough syrups?
Yes, exactly. And if it makes you sleepy, you shouldn't drive or do anything dangerous. The pharmacist will tell you that.
Wow, so we've learned how to ask for a recommendation, what OTC means, and generic, and how to check for side effects.
We really have. And remember, it's always better to ask too many questions than not enough. The pharmacists are used to it.
Okay, listeners, imagine you have a scratchy throat. How would you ask for something?
Try, can you recommend something for a sore throat?
Good. Now ask for a cheaper version.
Try, do you have a generic version of this?
You guys are doing great. Those seeds are really starting to sprout.
They certainly are. And while over-the-counter options are great, sometimes you have a specific order from your doctor.
Oh, you mean a prescription. I have a lot of questions about how to handle those.
Now, in our last part, we talked about over-the-counter medicines, but sometimes a cold or a headache isn't enough to describe what's going on. Sometimes you've already been to the doctor.
Right. And when you see a doctor, they often give you that little piece of paper, the prescription.
Exactly. A prescription is an official note from your doctor that tells the pharmacist exactly what medicine you need and how much you should take. Without that paper, the pharmacist can't give you certain stronger medicines.
Like antibiotics, right? I've heard you always need a prescription for those.
That's absolutely right. Antibiotics are medicines that fight infections caused by bacteria. Because they are so strong, doctors want to make sure you really need them before you take them.
So if I walk into the pharmacy with my paper, what's a natural way to say I'm ready to get my medicine?
You can simply say, I have a prescription from the doctor. Or a very common phrase is, can I get this prescription filled, please?
Can I get this prescription filled, please? That's a bit of an unusual phrase, isn't it? Filled, like filling a cup of water?
It does sound like that. In this context, filling a prescription just means the pharmacist is preparing the medicine for you. They're filling your order.
Ah, I see. Can I get this prescription filled? And what if I'm not sure if I actually need a doctor's note? Can I ask about that?
Definitely. You can ask, is this medicine available without a prescription? This is a great way to check if it's an OTC medicine or if you need to go back to the clinic first.
Is this medicine available without a prescription? That's a long sentence, but it's very clear.
It is. Now, Alex, imagine you're at the counter. The pharmacist takes your prescription, and then they might ask you to wait for a few minutes while they prepare it.
Right, they have to check the dosage and make sure everything is correct.
Exactly. And while you're waiting, it's another great time to ask about those generic versions we mentioned earlier. Even with a prescription, you can often get a cheaper version of the same drug.
So I could say, my doctor prescribed this brand, but do you have a generic version?
Perfect. You're getting so good at this. And remember, sometimes a prescription isn't just for pills. It could be for a cream or an ointment to put on your skin, or even cough syrup.
Ointment. That's for things like rashes or cuts, right?
Yes, any medicine you rub onto your skin is usually a cream or an ointment. It's just another form of medicine the doctor might include on your prescription.
Wow. So we've covered the paper itself, how to ask for it to be filled, and how to check if a doctor is even necessary.
We really have. And one more thing, Alex. When you get your medicine, the pharmacist will often put a little sticker on the bottle with your name and the instructions.
I've seen those. They usually say things like, take twice a day.
Exactly. That leads us right into our next part, understanding how to actually take the medicine safely.
That's so important. I always get confused about taking things before or after food.
Well, don't worry. We'll cover all of that in a moment. But first, let's practice our new phrase one more time.
Okay, I have a prescription from the doctor.
And the other one?
Can I get this prescription filled, please?
Fantastic. You guys are doing amazing today. Those seeds are really growing into strong, healthy plants.
Thanks, Sophia. I feel much more confident about prescriptions now. But once I have the medicine, I need to know exactly how to use it.
Exactly. Understanding the dosage and the specific instructions is the key to getting better safely. We've described our symptoms, we've asked for recommendations, and we've even managed to get our prescription filled. But now comes the most important part, actually taking the medicine.
This is where I always get a bit nervous, Sophia. I mean, medicine is helpful, but only if you take it correctly. If you take too much or take it at the wrong time, it could even be dangerous, right?
Exactly, Alex. Safety is always first. That's why we need to understand the dosage. Can you guess what dosage means?
Does it mean how much medicine I should take? Like one pill or two?
Yes, dosage is the exact amount of medicine you need to take and how often you need to take it. For example, the pharmacist might say your dosage is 1 capsule every 6 hours.
1 capsule every 6 hours. Okay. To be sure, I should always ask, how many times a day should I take this?
That is the perfect question. Some medicines are once a day, some are twice, and some are even 4 times a day. And don't forget to ask, should I take it before or after meals?
Should I take it before or after meals? Why is that so important, Sophia? Does it really matter if my stomach is full or empty?
It actually matters a lot. Some medicines can be hard on your stomach if it's empty, so you need to take it with food or after a meal to protect your stomach lining. Other medicines work better when your stomach is empty, so you take them before a meal.
Ah, like a shield for my stomach. That makes sense. After meals usually means within 30 minutes of eating, right?
Exactly. And when we say take with water, we mean a full glass of water, not just a tiny sip. It helps the pill or tablet dissolve properly in your body.
No taking it with coffee or soda then.
Water is always the safest bet. Now, Alex, let's talk about those side effects again. We mentioned them briefly, but it's really important to know what to watch out for.
Right, like if I start feeling dizzy or my skin gets a rash. Should I stop taking the medicine then?
If you experience a bad side effect, you should definitely call your doctor or the pharmacist. Some common side effects are things like a dry mouth, feeling sleepy, or an upset stomach. It's always good to ask, are there any side effects when you first get the box?
Are there any side effects? I'll make sure to ask that every single time. And what about the instructions on the box? Sometimes they use abbreviations like PC or AC.
Those are actually Latin. AC means before meals and PC means after meals. But don't worry, most modern pharmacists will just write it in plain English for you.
Thank goodness. My Latin is a bit rusty. Now, Sophia, how about a quick role play? I want to practice asking a few more questions once I have the medicine in my hand.
I love it. Let's do it. I'm the pharmacist again, and I'm handing you your bag of medicine.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Here you go, sir. Here is your cough syrup and your painkillers.
Thank you. Before I go, how many times a day should I take this cough syrup?
Take 10 milliliters 3 times a day. And here are your painkillers. Take 1 tablet every 8 hours.
I see. And should I take it before or after meals?
The painkillers should be taken after meals to protect your stomach. The cough syrup can be taken anytime.
Okay. One more thing. Are there any side effects?
The cough syrup might make you a little drowsy, so please be careful if you are driving.
Understood. Thank you so much for your help.
And scene. You're a natural, Alex. You asked all the right questions.
It felt good, especially asking about the drowsiness. I didn't know cough syrup could do that.
Many people don't. That's why that question, are there any side effects, is so powerful. It gives you all the information you need to stay safe.
You know, Sophia, I feel like I'm really learning a lot today. Not just about the words, but about how to be a responsible patient.
That's the most important thing. These language seeds aren't just for talking, they're for helping you live a better, healthier life in an English-speaking environment.
I couldn't agree more. Now, before we move on to our final part about safety and allergies, let's do another quick listener check.
Great idea. Listeners, imagine the pharmacist tells you to take a medicine at 8 a.m., 2 p.m., and 8 p.m. How many times a day is that?
That's right. 3 times a day.
And if they say take PC, what does that mean?
After meals. You guys are brilliant.
You really are. Let's keep that focus as we move into our last part. It's a short one, but it's arguably the most important of all.
The safety part. I'm ready to talk about the most important things we need to tell the pharmacist.
Now for the final part of our deep dive. We've covered a lot today, but we can't let you go without talking about something absolutely vital: allergies.
You're right, Sophia. Knowing how to say you're allergic to something can literally save your life.
Exactly. An allergy is when your body reacts badly to a substance. In the pharmacy, the most common one we talk about is being allergic to certain medicines.
Like penicillin, right? That's a very common one. I should say I'm allergic to penicillin.
Yes, penicillin is a type of antibiotic. Many people have a bad reaction to it, ranging from a small rash to something much more serious. If you know you have an allergy, you must tell the pharmacist immediately.
I'm allergic to penicillin. Or I could say I have an allergy to aspirin.
Both are perfect. Even if you aren't 100% sure, it's always better to mention it. You can even ask, does this medicine contain any penicillin?
That's a good follow-up. Better safe than sorry.
Exactly. And once you have everything you need and you've asked all your questions, it's time to say thank you and head home to rest.
And I have the perfect sentence for that. Thank you for your help. I feel better already.
That's the spirit, Alex. Even just knowing you have the right medicine can give you some mental relief.
It really does. I feel like I've gone from feeling stressed about my headache to feeling like I have a plan for relief.
That's the power of communication. When you have the right words, the world and the pharmacy becomes a much easier place to navigate.
I definitely agree. We've planted so many seeds today, from symptoms like fever and nausea to instructions like dosage and side effects.
We really have. And for our listeners, remember, don't try to learn all 40 phrases at once. Just pick 2 or 3 that you find most useful and practice those today.
Great advice, Sophia. Maybe just start with, I don't feel well, and thank you for your help.
Perfect. Those are the foundation of any good conversation.
Well, I think it's time for me to go home and take that painkiller now.
Go ahead, Alex. And everyone else, stay healthy and keep growing. That's all for today's episode of Daily Seed English Podcast. We hope you found these pharmacy phrases helpful for your next trip to the chemist's.
We certainly did. If you enjoyed planting these language seeds with us today, please don't forget to subscribe to the show and share it with a friend who is also learning English.
Every small step you take and every phrase you learn helps your fluency grow.
Exactly, because remember, every day is a chance to learn better.
We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye, everyone.